We're pretty confident about this year. We have a benign view as to one, the government's approach at the budget, and I think everybody's holding their breath as far as that's concerned. And we also think that our regulator, the FCA, has also got a more positive and growth-orientated outlook.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by S&U Chairman Anthony Coombs. Anthony, very good to speak with you. S&U's delivered a solid profit recovery this half despite lower revenues. What's driven that improvement, particularly the sharp drop in impairments?
Well, that's a very good point, Stephen. We're very confident about the future. I'm not just saying that. We've been through a difficult period. Everybody knows that. We had the BiFID inquiry from the FCA. We've had the Court of Appeal come out with something which is, in my view, illogical and now has been put right by the Supreme Court. We've got a very sensible redress scheme which will have very little effect upon S&U from the FCA. So there's a lot to be looked forward to, and that's been reflected in our trading, particularly of late. There's no doubt about it that our sales at Advantage have been really very, very good indeed, which is driven by possibly new scorecard, affordability criteria, and we think that will produce an excellent income stream in the future. And of course, Aspen, our bridging lender, has produced record results, and we think that it'll continue to produce record results. So, we're pretty confident about this year. We have a benign view as to one, the government's approach at the budget, and I think everybody's holding their breath as far as that's concerned. And we also think that our regulator, the FCA, has also got a more positive and growth-orientated outlook. So we're quietly confident.
Well, as you mentioned, Aspen has had a standout period with record profits. What's behind the performance and how scalable is this part of the business?
Good question. I think it's very scalable because, there's two really main client groups for Aspen. The first is small developers in the UK who basically have been ignored by the mainstream banks for far too long. And these small developers don't want to go through the long process that too often even the non-mainstream banks take them through. And so what we do is we provide a more speedy, more flexible, more bespoke service. And that we're finding is very, very, very popular. The second major group is overseas investors. Chinese, Indian investors, people who want to possibly get their money out of their home countries, and you can see that from the Henley Partners Millionaires Index and how much money is flowing out of places like India and China. And we're finding that a lot of it is going into UK property. They want short-term loans, some of them up to 3 years. We can offer them that, and that's a very good market, which we're well ensconced in.
And so your gearing's fallen from 103% to 75%, borrowings down significantly. How strong is your balance sheet now, and how does that position S&U for future growth?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It gives us a very strong balance sheet. I think that there's been particular reasons this half year, Stephen, why the borrowings have dropped, and that is because the collections have been good at both businesses, but particularly good at Aspen. So although we've done, I think it's about 25% more in terms of advances in Aspen, we've got a huge amount of not early repayments, well, early repayments and normal repayments from that company. Similarly, in terms of Advantage, the collections have been good. They're getting better all the time, but because we put the brakes on the lending earlier in the year when there was an uncertainty related to the FCA, then that's become very cash generative. It will be less so now. Both books will build their receivables balances in the second half of the year, and we expect to get back to more normal levels of gearing as a result.
Anthony, you've declared a higher interim dividend at 35 pence a share. How confident are you in sustaining that momentum given the uncertain UK economy and also that upcoming budget that you alluded to?
Well, we've always gone for sustainable growth, whether it be in dividends or in earnings. And I wouldn't have put the dividend up from 30 to 35p unless I thought that I could maintain it and the pattern relating to it, because you do three dividends a year in throughout the year. I mean, obviously, it will depend upon earnings. We're not irresponsible as far as our dividend policy is concerned. We like to be normally, twice covered, and we'll make sure that we gradually move towards that. We are moving towards that in terms of 35p, and I expect that to continue. But I am very confident in our dividend policy.
Well, Anthony, I hope you'll continue to keep us updated with your progress. Thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you, Stephen.
Anthony Coombs is chairman of S&U.